boys. Another day, another content from AniNews. Boys, what's up, man? Been moving. As you can see, the background is different. The OG background is gone. Been moving, man. Been busy. Broke the daily streak. I don't know how long that daily streak of videos was, but yeah, man, I'm here, bro. I was able to catch AniNews, man. AniNews dropped, bro. Probably at the worst time for me. But I'm here, man. Let's see what he got, bro, because this episode was fucking crazy. We have a long one today, bro. 22 minutes and 49 seconds. Let's see what we got, man. The disturbing death that broke Subaru all over again. Let's go.
Subaru losing his memories comes
Rewind.
Subaru losing his memories comes at a monumental loss for everyone.
Yes.
Amelia's lost her knight, Beatrice the man who saved her from isolation, Rem and Julius the only person who remembers them,
Yeah.
Ram the only living link between her sister and herself, Aridina her best bet in getting Anastasia back, then most importantly, Subaru lost everything that made him Subaru. We all knew he was the glue pretty much holding everyone together, but now that he's gone, things just got a whole lot harder.
Yes. And the crazy thing about this, have y'all heard what Tape said about the fact that like Arc 6 would be like a million times easier if Otto was here? Y'all heard about that, man? Dude, if Otto was here for Subaru losing his memories, this shit would be a breeze. Otto would remind Subaru of his accomplishments and he would comfort Subaru. And it would be so much easier. And he for sure, damn well, he wouldn't have like left him alone or anything. It would have just been a fucking breeze. But he's not here, so yeah, exactly. He wouldn't be alone. So, but since Otto's not here, yeah, we know where that went because there's no Otto. So, yeah. Also, I heard that Reinhardt also makes it harder, right? Because the skill, right? It has to do with Reed, right? Like the skill matches the party, right? If I'm not incorrect about that. So if Reinhardt pulled up, Reed would have been Reinhardt level, and then we just can't pass the test, and we would be fucking cooked. So yeah, I'm glad that Reinhardt didn't pull up. That would be fucking crazy, right? Destroy the tower while fighting. Yeah, that shit. Whatever the fuck. Yeah. So it would have just been rough, dude. So thankfully Reinhardt didn't pull up, and then thankfully, or I guess like sadly, Otto did not pull up. So it's just rough, bro.
Harder. Not only that, with one of the most brutal deaths eating away at whatever sane parts of Subaru were left, it's scary to think what might become of him when all of them are gone.
Yeah.
So, the novel describes his deteriorating mental state in very graphic detail, along with the deaths leading up to it and the conversations before. There's a lot that explain why certain things happened and the choices certain characters made, so if you want to learn more about this tough time for Subaru, here's everything the anime left out from this episode.
Bet.
But first, what if I told you there was a way to watch seasonal anime with better subtitles right here on YouTube?
Oh. You're sponsored by Muse Asia? AniNews is sponsored by Muse Asia? Now, let me tell you, I'm not trying to take away anything, but listen, can we just say fuck Crunchyroll? Because of Crunchyroll, I don't know if it's still like this. Do y'all remember what they did at the beginning of the season with ReZero, bro? Or like I don't know if it's everything. Look, like the fact that like they like made Muse Asia like delayed by like 2 weeks or some shit, right? Is that still a thing? Dude, that is fucking crazy, bro. And it's just really bad because it's like, bro, do you see the crunchy subs? Do you see the crunchy subs? Bro, frame 1, episode 1, bro, we're not even 10 minutes in and you're saying city instead of country. Bro, you're saying city instead of country in the first episode. Bro, you gonna have motherfuckers thinking that Shala is in the city. Like, what are we doing? Like, bro, yeah. Also, yeah, you do need a VPN as well. So actually, he's not sponsored by Muse Asia. It's Surfshark. Yeah, Surfshark VPN to get to Muse Asia. I get it. Okay. All right, get your bag, bro. Get your bag, Mr. AniNews, man. Get your bag, bro. Okay, it wasn't that long of an ad. All right.
The link in the description or head to surfshark.com/AniNewsVPN.
Shout out Muse Asia, though.
But anyway, episode 74,
Yeah.
Who Are You? Covering chapters 1 and 2 from volume 23 of the light novel.
Okay.
The Subaru we know might seem like a pretty amazing person, but the Subaru of old was about as average as one could be. If there was one thing that differentiated him from the rest, it was the fact he tended not to show up for class.
Yes.
In fact, where most people typically dealt with life by making a series of difficult choices, Subaru's specialty was running away from those choices.
Running away from the problem, yeah.
He was a bit better than most at running away from the things he didn't like. So, when it came time to choose between going to college or finding a job, Subaru instead just stopped going to school completely. And before he knew it, he'd become the exact type of delinquent most parents wept over. This was the Subaru that was here now, officially a high school dropout.
Oof.
More importantly than that, though, was the two girls trying to figure out whether or not something was wrong with him. Beatrice was stunned and her hand trembled as she hung onto his sleeve, but as much as it hurt to see her that way, Subaru couldn't do anything to reassure her. He was too caught up in his own confusion to spare a thought for her problems.
Poor Betty.
It was when he took in the current state of his body that Subaru would notice all these scars on him. They weren't something Subaru really minded himself, but he did feel guilty when he thought about what his parents might think. It was another issue to throw on the pile of complicated feelings he felt between him and his parents.
Subaru knows that he can't go back, right? Like, Subaru, like, has read manga and shit, right? Up this, like, be isekai, bro. Listen, bro, I'm sorry to break it to you, bro. You're stuck here. I'm sorry to break it to you, bro. Your parents ain't gonna be worrying, bro. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Subaru's subsequent introductions would proceed pretty much the same, then at breakfast, Subaru would meet even more attractive people. That was the one thing he felt they all had in common,
Okay.
making him feel bad as the only person bringing the average down.
Oh, I think I heard about this. Yeah, I think I heard about this. That's fucking sad. I'm not gonna lie. That's fucking sad. He sees all these people and they're like, damn. He's like, damn, yo, all these motherfuckers are attractive as hell. Yo, all these motherfuckers are attractive as hell, and I'm just ugly as hell. Like, damn, yeah, the self-hatred right there, bro. More examples of Subaru's self-hatred and all that. Similar thought of Sort of Arc 2. Is that cut content? Because again, yo, if y'all ever like, if I'm like ever like talking about like, I don't know, some like you can talk about like season 1 and stuff. Like, let me know any cut content. I literally did not cover anything like that. Like, Wishful translations, I guess, right? Wishful translations, but Wishful translations is like more important stuff. But like dialogue like that, bro. Like, yeah, I completely missed that shit. Start of Arc 2 is crazy, bro. Damn.
He felt they all had in common, making him feel bad as the only person bringing the average down.
Yeah.
When it came to meeting Shala next, she would make an interesting comment about how this wasn't the first time Subaru forgot her.
Mm-hmm.
If those words were to be taken literally, then perhaps Subaru, or in this context the sage, loses his memories more times than we might think.
See, so this... Yeah, I know that AniNews had Arc 1 and 2 cut content. I just didn't do it because... I mean, I could have just done it, but I didn't really want to do episode 6 and then just stop there. I could have just done that, honestly. I really could have, but I just didn't do it. I didn't really want to leave it incomplete, but low-key regret it now. Obviously, I regret it now, but yeah. Now this right here, boys. The fact that it's been mentioned by Shala that this motherfucker loses his memories like it's some regular shit. Bro hit his head on the toilet. Again. What the fuck? So like that now my thing is now that fucking changes everything. So the fact that like okay, so like the way that Subaru lost his memories, I'm guessing it was some sort of like gluttony, right? Probably gluttony. But there's probably like other ways or like other like forms of like maybe a sage losing their memories eventually. Like I don't know how that works, right? Because the Subaru is Flugel theory. I don't think really works. I really don't see it. It's too obvious, right? I hate when because I really hate when ReZero like gives you like the hints, right? They take you into a certain path that seems very obvious, and they make you think that, and I'm like, okay, Now I don't think that. That's just me though. That's my way of thinking, bro. Like they got me thinking that Flugel is Subaru, but I just don't know how that would work exactly, right? I definitely still do have the thought that maybe Flugel left some sort of path for Subaru, right? We still have the dad theory. It sounds stupid as hell, it's funny as hell, but it's still a theory, right? You know that Subaru's dad name means first sage, right? Like anyone could be Flugel, but I don't think it is Subaru. But definitely the one thing that I kind of it could be interesting is if like a sage loses their memory after a certain amount of time. So they leave like hints and like different like clues or like, information behind before they lose their memories. You know what I mean? Now, that would mean that the sage knows they're going to lose their memory eventually or at a certain point, right? So that's what I think though, right? Because for example, like the trial stuff, right? The trial stuff of pretty much knowing that Subaru was going to pull up. Now, the beginning theory was that the trial was based off so Subaru could solve it because Subaru himself made the trial, right? But maybe not. Who says that like the sage doesn't have the ability to like see the future? You know what I mean? So let's say the sage has the ability to look to the future or like look into the future in some way. Then that way they can warn or like pretty much base everything off. Like for example, for Subaru to succeed, right? It doesn't exactly have to mean that Subaru is Flugel, so that's why the stars and the constellations and all that. You know what I mean? Which also means that that has to also deal with isekai, right? Like the Flugel probably just obviously right isekai, right? It has to make sense, right? He knew about the star stuff, or maybe he just saw the future and he knows that Subaru knows about it. I don't know, right? That's very iffy. It's a very iffy path that we don't really know, but it definitely has to do with the sage knowing the future or something, bro. Definitely. Uh, I don't know if it's a tower taking memories. It's very interesting that like the memory wiping and everything that goes on is is right here in tower, right? Everything happens here in the tower. So I don't know exactly if it's like I don't know if it's like after a certain amount of time, a sage like Flugel gets their memories erased. I don't know, right? I really don't know because the way that Subaru, the way that Subaru lost his memories, I don't think was like some sort of like I don't know, like spell or time because Subaru isn't even old. For example, like let's say it's like after a certain amount of time, I don't. It's not because of that then, right? Um, Unless like in this tower, there's multiple ways. I don't know. I don't know if like Flugel read something that he shouldn't have, and because of that, he has like a time limit, or he got his brain fried or some shit. I don't know. Shala out of here mentioning toilet bowls. I don't know, man. Hitting his head. Like that's the thing. Is she? What does she mean by that, bro? Does Flugel just hit his head and lose memories? Is that how that fucking works? Like what? There's no way. I don't know, man. That's such an iffy, like, bro. I will not be getting any answers anytime soon. But it's just crazy to think that like what he just loses the memory because he falls. That was Ram. Oh my bad. That was Ram. Oops. But yeah, still, you know what I mean. Like right here on the text, but you still never learn, do you, Master? How many times have forgotten me now? And fuck you mean? Like you know what I mean? Like literally the text on the screen right now, bro. Like how many times have you forgotten me now? So like they've lost count. They've lost count. At least Shaw. I mean, I don't know if Shaw is just stupid. She didn't even know there was a fifth rule or not, but like she literally lost count of how many times Flugel himself, just Flugel, has lost his memories. Huh. I don't know, man. And also, I guess we also don't know how much, right? Is it like all the memories? Is it everything? Is it a full memory wipe? Is it certain things, certain people, certain events? Is it a full memory wipe? We also don't know that, but I can assume it's just a full. I can just assume it's a full memory wipe, though. Damn. Yeah, we'll wait till 2050. Hopefully, I'm alive by then.
I'm Subaru forgot her. If those words were to be taken literally, then perhaps Subaru, or in this context the sage, loses his memories more times than we might think.
Crazy.
Either way, according to Shala, this wasn't the first. When Ram tried to separate Subaru after, her back and forth with Amelia would give Subaru clues as to what his role was. Ram had mentioned Subaru being a servant to Roswell, so that led Subaru to think he was some sort of errand boy. Immediately, Amelia would try to correct that, but before she could finish, Subaru would joke about being lovers. She was, after all, exactly his type, but as far as he was concerned, she was way out of his league.
Right.
That's why Subaru felt he could joke about it, him feeling nothing when she stated that they didn't share a romantic relationship. Subaru would then tell everyone that it was fine, calling Amelia and Beatrice in ways the original Subaru never would.
Yeah.
That much we saw for Amelia, but what they didn't show after was Beatrice's reaction when he called her Betty. It was a far cry from the Bayako that she was used to hearing. Seeing her expression definitely hurt Subaru because for him, he didn't like letting people down like that. So when Ram confronted him the most aggressively out of anyone, all Subaru could do was apologize for not being able to live up to her expectations. It was clear she was desperately trying to cling on to something that he had forgotten. In the end, all Subaru could do was apologize for forgetting, for not being able to answer her, and so much more.
Dude, imagine how Subaru feels, bro. Dude, he already feels like this sort of like, this like hatred for himself, right? The lack of self-confidence, and the fact that you pull up to this place and people are talking about a whole nother you to the point where, they even like treat you like very differently as well, right? Like in terms of like different, not really differently, obviously, because he just meant that, but you know what I mean? Like they just treat him like, damn, bro, what about the other Subaru, right? Like, it's such a complete one. It's so different from like when he first arrived here, dude. Like he just got here and he just got thrown into fucking hell. Dude, he got thrown in here into fucking hell, just fucking out of nowhere, dude. Like at least in Arc 1, dude, he pulled up. He's like, "Oh, I got summoned." Okay, and he started walking around. The worst thing that happened was him falling into like the fucking like under the bridge in the water and shit. And then the thieves and like everything had a build up, right? There was a build up, bro. Like he was able to like kind of like level up, like and get the development. But here it's just like, so different that another version of him that already was developed isn't there, and that's how they're treating him and how they're like pretty much they're like pretty much telling him about, right? It's also interesting because he probably doesn't even believe that, right? Like how can a version of him or like himself like be that great, right? You know what I mean, bro? The Subaru Blaze is crazy, bro. And now he's just being thrown in here. Bro doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And it's too much, bro. It's overwhelming, bro. That's why, bro, he died 2 times. It was like a horrible death, right? The second one, like last episode, and it's already over. He's already insane.
In the end, all Subaru could do was apologize for forgetting, for not being able to answer her, and so much more.
Yeah.
As they were now, both were helpless to the circumstances they now found themselves in. Now, it was on the way back that Subaru would overhear a conversation between all the others, specifically Amelia telling them why Subaru would never joke about something like this. Because he knew just how painful it was to be forgotten, Amelia knew he would never joke about forgetting someone.
Dude, you think anyone would... Yo, do y'all think anyone would joke about that? That would be so fucked up. Yo, hopefully not. That would be so fucked up, bro.
They were words that carried with them absolute trust in Subaru, but to the Subaru of now, he didn't think that at all. Perhaps they were meant for the other Subaru, but as he was now, he felt no one should have faith in him. It was once Subaru had returned to the room that, as we saw, Julius would reintroduce himself. Ram did say in their conversation Subaru's treatment of him was cruel, but for what reason Subaru didn't know. And while Julius did consider themselves friends, the truth of the matter was that he wasn't sure if the real Subaru felt the same. If the Subaru of now was to make an opinion off an initial impression, he did say Julius looked like the type of person he'd snap at the first time meeting him. In any case,
that's crazy.
With Anastasia's confession coming right after, Ram's blunt assessment of the situation left Subaru with zero confidence at all. He understood they were here to ascend the tower and find a way to wake up Rem, but with the group unable to progress and Subaru being one of the reasons why they couldn't progress, as much as he felt bad about it, Subaru was ready to call this mission impossible. It was right as he was about to say it that's when Amelia would be the shining ray of hope for everyone. That was enough for Subaru to look forward with reckless determination, a feeling Subaru was probably mistaking for decisiveness.
W-E-M-T. Yo. W-fucking-E-M-T. I absolutely loved the line that she said last episode. It doesn't matter if, memories or no memories, you're still Subaru. And that's all that matters, bro. Yo, EMT a real one, bro. Yo, and also the way that she, hyped herself up, right? The way she slapped her face like Subaru does, bro. Bro, EMT is just so good, man.
You see, because Subaru had forgotten just how great the barrier in front of them was, Julius felt the need to remind him the dangers of overconfidence. That one remark was all Subaru needed to get a grasp on how his relationship with Julius used to be, fully believing they weren't quite friends or enemies.
Gotcha.
Because of the clear emotional distance between them, Subaru felt whatever relationship they'd had was built gradually.
Alright, let's rewind here. Alright, let's go.
Julius felt the need to remind him the dangers of overconfidence. That one remark was all Subaru needed to get a grasp on how his relationship with Julius used to be, fully believing they weren't quite friends or enemies. Because of the clear emotional distance between them, Subaru felt whatever relationship they'd had was built gradually.
Yeah.
Surprisingly on the mark read, considering he'd only talked with Julius for a minute.
That's fucking crazy. Dude, he fucking read that shit perfectly. Literally, no experience either, too. What the fuck? Subaru just fucking hit that perfectly, actually. Wow. Alright.
It was after that Aridina would share more information about her relationship with Anastasia, unsure what to actually call herself. At first, she called herself a friend, but when Amelia questioned how deep the relationship actually was, she helped Aridina see they were actually family. The existence of a contract wasn't what solidified their bond, but rather how much the two of them cared for each other.
Yeah.
Aridina would then explain why she decided to reveal all this now, also mentioning that Subaru was aware of her secret first. Ram was of course pissed because to hear Subaru had kept yet another secret from her, well, perhaps he tucked his memories away with all his other secrets. Millie would then add fuel to the fire herself, after which Subaru would make quite the funny remark.
Jesus.
Then came the talks about how Subaru ended up like this, a conversation that eventually made its way to Shala. With Shala continuously calling Subaru master, finally Subaru would ask why that was. Normally he wouldn't mind having such a woman chase after him, but something was off regarding her affection. Unlike how Amelia's or Beatrice's felt earnest, to Subaru, Shala's was fundamentally different. In the end, Julius would state what I'm sure everyone was thinking, and that was the clear detriment of not having Subaru to support them anymore.
Yikes.
He didn't mean to say it as if they all relied on him, but the truth was, Subaru supported all of them tremendously.
Bro, Subaru is literally the glue. Listen. Also an interesting thing, right? Ram was very pissed when Aridina mentioned that. In the anime, she kind of just reacted and they moved on. Interesting. But yeah, I mean Subaru's the glue, bro. Dude, he was keeping everything together, man. Everything, bro. He's literally the go-to guy, bro. Trying to keep the whole group together. Cause think about it, right? There is multiple parties here, bro. Right? You got Anastasia, Emilia, right? Even though we're working together right now, we're still enemies in the royal selection, right? We just working together right now to because we have similar goals and we gotta help people out, right? But we got different parties, different ideologies here, bro. Meili isn't necessarily right. She's not an ally, right? Meili is not an ally. She's just here to help. She just wanted to get out of the cage. So Meili is not even a friend either, right? I don't even know if she's an ally. She's just here, right? So, at the end of the day, bro, we're not really like this group isn't really just friends and like buddy. It's like Subaru was really keeping this together, right? But now that he's gone, it might just fall apart, bro. I mean, it's already falling apart, you know what I mean? But
meant of not having Subaru to support them anymore.
Mm.
He didn't mean to say it as if they all relied on him, but the truth was, Subaru supported all of them tremendously.
100%.
So now that he was gone, all of them were feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the anime, the group would exclude Subaru from going to the archive, but in the novel, they would actually take him. It's here everyone would learn Subaru could no longer read or write anymore, so in the words of Ram, he was useless baggage here in the archive too.
Oh, I think I heard about this. I think someone commented this. This is like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just like, apparently y'all know the scene, right? So in the anime, y'all remember how like it just like cuts straight to Subaru? Like straight to Subaru alone in the hallway, right? And it seemed like the group just left them alone and that's it, and it just cut there, right? What actually happened was that they pulled up to the library. They actually pulled up on site, and Subaru noticed that like, oh, I can't read this shit, right? And they obviously just like deemed it like useless, right? Everything, right? And nothing really happened. And that's when Subaru just like went out and just like walked by himself and all that, right? I think I heard something about this, right? It's not exactly like the anime definitely changed it up, right? But obviously, right, for the flow of the episode, right, pacing wise, it's very different for the anime.
Read or write anymore, so in the words of Ram, he was useless baggage here in the archive too.
Jesus,
Still,
Ram.
they would continue looking for answers anyway, and when Subaru suggested putting all the useless books away into a pile on the floor, Aridina would say how that would likely break one of the tower's rules. You'd think where the episode ended, Subaru would have no prior knowledge of those rules, but it was here in this moment that everyone would explain it to him.
See? So, this is something else as well. My original thought was actually that Subaru didn't know about the whatchamacallit, bro. About the rules, and that's why he left. You know what I mean? So I thought that's why he left the tower. And that's why he didn't know. No, he just didn't give a fuck. Bro, he deadass did not give a fuck, bro. That is fucking crazy. I deadass thought that like he just didn't know and that's why he left. That was my theory, actually. That's actually my fucking theory, okay? Like, deadass, bro. I thought that was a fucking theory, but alright, we back, let's go.
Right anymore, so in the words of Ram, he was useless baggage here in the archive too. Still,
crazy.
They would continue looking for answers anyway, and when Subaru suggested putting all the useless books away into a pile on the floor, Aridina would say how that would likely break one of the tower's rules.
Yeah.
You'd think where the episode ended, Subaru would have no prior knowledge of those rules, but it was here in this moment that everyone would explain it to him.
Yeah, crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy.
They would tell him he could neither disrespect the archive nor try to leave, and if he did, Shala would transform into a merciless killing machine.
Bro, he literally got all the details. Oh yeah, he's gone, boys. Nah, he got it, bro. He got every single detail. Even Shala transforming. Even all that. He knew everything. And he still went out. Yeah, he's fucking cooked, boys. Yo, tomorrow's episode gonna be fucking crazy, man.
The thing is, considering how ridiculous all that sounded, Subaru just assumed it was a joke. He just couldn't see Shala transforming into a murderous Terminator, despite her literally referencing one of its lines.
Oh, you thought this was a joke? Subaru, man. You know, you're in a isekai world, man. You've been summoned to another world, bro. Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. You should I don't know about y'all, bro. But I'm automatically assuming that they're saying the truth, bro. Bro, there's magic. Bro, this shit look magical as fuck, bro. Bro, there's an earth dragon. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't believe that she gonna transform, bro. Yo, bro forgot he's in a fantasy world, bro. I would transform into a merciless killing machine and hasta la bye-bye to everyone. Okay. Nice, Shala. Dude, Shala's terrifying, bro. Fuck no.
Referencing one of its lines. Plus, with Subaru not being aware of her inhuman strength, he wondered how dangerous someone like her could be anyway.
Oh, really? Okay.
In any case, with Subaru not being able to do literally anything, all he could do was sit there and wait. This was exactly what everyone wanted him to do, even making him promise he'd stay with them. So, unlike how in the anime everyone was fine with leaving Subaru on his own, pretty much all of them felt he needed to be watched.
That is such a big change. Y'all don't realize how big of a change that is. Have y'all seen how many I guess like memes, right? Like memes, videos, whether it be on TikTok or whatever the case may be, of people be like, yo, how the squad felt leaving Subaru alone. Or like this, that, and the third. Oh, they don't care about Subaru, they just left him. Bro, it's the complete fucking opposite. They actually brought him with them, and they wanted him close to everyone. So that right there is a very big change in perspective, 100%. See, that right there is very different. Okay, that definitely makes the Emilia camp, Anastasia camp, everyone in that group, everyone there looks bad, bro. But in the novels, it was they actually wanted to be by him, and obviously wanted Subaru to be with him. That's crazy, bro.
Pretty much all of them felt he needed to be watched. Based on the results of his actions, they couldn't trust him to just sit around and wait anymore.
Which is crazy because, yeah, that is common sense. I literally mentioned in the episode, I remember literally mentioning the episode, why are y'all leaving Subaru alone? Is this smart? Something along those lines, I said. Because, bro, from the anime only perspective, it looks like they just dipped on him. Like, it deadass looks like they just dipped on him and didn't give a fuck, bro. And like that was the plan. The plan was just to leave him alone even after losing memories. But no, they obviously knew what the fuck they were doing in the novels. Okay.
They couldn't trust him to just sit around and wait anymore.
Exactly.
It was in the meantime that Subaru would get more acquainted with Meili, one of two people not helping with the investigation.
Meili's sus, by the way. It's either Meili and what's her name? Rui. Rui or Meili, bro. It wasn't Betty. There is no one else that short, bro. I am going with this just because the camera angle from when Subaru I'm talking about when Subaru got pushed the second time. Well, I guess both times, I guess, right? When Subaru got pushed, bro, the camera angle was like this, bro. Like next to Subaru, right? There's no one there. I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's a lolly, bro. It's a kid, bro. Yo. It's either Meili or Rui. And I think it's more Meili. Because Rui, let's say Rui was a gluttony. Would Rui really troll like that? Is Rui a troll like that? You know what I mean? You can also use the sound effects to theorize the fucking sound effects. Listen. It was heels. Yes, it was like heel. Yeah, you're right. It was like heels boots. So automatically it's a girl, right? It's a girl. It's either Rui or Meili, but I would like to believe it's more Meili, just because I don't know if Rui would be behind two things. It would be more interesting if we have like two different suspects. Like, would Rui be like? Let's say that Rui's like behind the gluttony and then also push Subaru. Is she a troll like that? I don't know. And let's say she did push Subaru like that. Would Rui risk her like identity? Because think about it. So think about it. The reason that I'm saying that Rui may have pushed Subaru is keeping in mind that Rui isn't transformed. Because she's a lolly. She's small. I'm assuming that like she's not transformed. But would she risk that? Like just being out in the open? I guess like she was sure she was gonna kill Subaru, I guess. But it's just interesting to think, right? If it was Rui, she's just not even transformed. She's not even like LARPing. She's not even transformed as anyone. But then Meili. What does Meili have on? Wait a damn minute. I'm tweaking. Does Rui even wear shoes? No, she doesn't. Meili is wearing boots, right? She's wearing boots. If Rui isn't LARPing, yo, wait a minute. Wait. Meili is wearing boots, right? Or whatever the fuck she's wearing. What if Rui is Meili? Yo, wait, that would be a crazy fucking twist. It is Rui, but she's LARPing as Meili. Yo, that would be fucking crazy. Yo, that would be fucking crazy. Listen, it's either both of them. It's probably Meili though. If it's boots, I think she's wearing boots, and it's a lolly, it's a small one. I think it's probably Meili, because the other person is just Betty. But Betty wouldn't do that. Yo, that would be crazy. I would probably drop the show. I'd be like, yeah, I'm dropping the show. No, I'm kidding. But that'd be fucking crazy. That would blow my fucking mind. But no, Betty would not do that. Betty would not fucking do that. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like my thought process. I don't know. Like, that could be really like bad, but like, bro, I'm basing it off the camera angle, bro. The camera angle was like on the head, like this, bro. It wasn't looking down. So it's probably a fucking lolly, bro. What about Patrash? Son, first of all, Patrash wouldn't do that, okay? Unless we're talking season 4, episode 3, right? Bite of 87. Patrash wouldn't do that. And with the how tall is Patrash, bro? Bro, I think we're going to see Patrash in the camera, man. Bro, I think we're going to see Patrash in the camera, bro. So yeah, I think it's probably just Meili. It makes sense, but like, it could be interesting. Maybe I'm getting played here. Maybe I'm getting played, and it's Rui LARPing as Meili. Or Rui LARPing as someone. I don't know. Or maybe Rui is laying down the floor, bro. Like this, bro. Or Rui is laying down the floor, like laying down or some shit, bro. I don't fucking know. But, I don't know, man. I really don't know what it could have been, man. But I think that those two suspects, I'm just going based on the fact that, like, bro, there's no one as tall as Subaru behind him, bro. You know what I mean? So Betty got my asthma affected. But if Betty got my asthma affected, wouldn't that mean that everyone would have? And everyone goes fucking insane? You know what I mean? I don't know. That would have meant that Subaru would have gone insane even before falling. What about Pandora? So the Pandora theory is interesting, but I don't know if she would do that. Because she's just watching. She's not really acting. She's just watching. And I don't even know, would a bird be strong enough to push Subaru? It would just be a bird if it was Pandora. But I don't know if a bird would push like that, you know what I mean? Bro, that's a strong-ass bird if we're talking about that, bro. Yo, that would be a strong-ass fucking bird to push Subaru like that. Erinna? Are you saying Erinna as like the fox form that we saw in the break time, bro? Otherwise, I don't think so, bro. Cause like, yo, that would be crazy. You know, like Fox Edna, bro, just like pushes him. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so, man. I definitely gained a lot of trust for Erinna, man. Maybe I'm tweaking. Maybe this could backstab me, but I did gain a lot more trust from Erinna in the break time, man. She really cares for Anna. I'm not fully there yet, though. I'm not fully convinced, but I definitely do feel a little better. I definitely do feel better about her. I'm trusting a fox. Yes, I'm trusting a fucking fox, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless she wants drama, she also super lost memory, so she wants to distrust his friends. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go based off that, you know, it's like heels / boots, woman. The camera was like this, and we didn't see it pan down. So like, it's probably just like a lolly. So it's probably just like Meili. Rui doesn't wear shoes. I don't know, man. I'm really, I'm starting to think that it's probably Melee. But like, what? But like, okay, but let's say it's okay, okay, okay. Let me not get ahead of myself though. If it was Melee, why? Why? What the fuck do you gain from that? Now there were some sus lines from Melee last episode. Like y'all remember when Subaru was telling her like, "Hey, yesterday's what the fuck did he say? He was like yesterday's me was like very clumsy or something," and then Melee said, "Yeah, he definitely was." The fuck? Why are you looking at me like that? You know what I mean? Um, very sus, right? Melee was pretty sus last episode with her faces and shit. But but like but then it's like what really stops me, right? What really stops me from going all in on Melee is like, why would she do that? What did she gain from that? Does she have a hit? Yo, like, did someone like tell her? Did she have like some sort of like deal to kill Subaru? Like, was she like appointed? Like, but like by who? Like, let's say she has to kill Subaru because she was paid to do so. Like, someone like yo contracted her. But like, who? Who wants Subaru so dead? An Archbishop, bro? Roswell again? Dude, if it's Roswell again, that would be fucking crazy. Because Roswell obviously is in the mansion. Who else is in the mansion? Right? Roswell, Melee, Frederica, Petra. But obviously Frederica and Petra wouldn't fucking do that. I don't know. That's like if it's Roswell again, that would be fucking crazy. But like, what did she gain from that? Like, if it's not a contract, if she wasn't appointed to kill Subaru, she wasn't like paid to do so. What the fuck did she gain from that? It could be Mother. It could be Capella. That's why I said earlier Archbishop. The Archbishop possibility. If it's, bro, that would be crazy though. Like Capella just knows that Subaru's him, and Capella was just like, "Hey, kill Subaru, bro. He's him." I mean, you know, Regulus got packed up. You know what I mean? Petugis got packed up all by him. So, you know? Um I mean, dude, if she did it for fun, that would be fucking wild. What about Omega? Omega? Well, like what would Omega gain from that? Bro, Omega's just wandering around. Omega's just walking around. She's just chilling, bro. I don't think Omega got that big of a play here, bro. Especially in the main story, man. I don't think Omega in the main story has anything, bro. She's one of the creators? Yeah, but like we're talking about Echidna in the past. Like if we're talking about Omega now, like Omega now has nothing to do with the story. At least with anime, right? In the anime. We're not gonna see Omega anytime soon. Unless, hear me out. Season 8, episode 3 break time or some shit, right? And then Omega appears, right? And then only people that watch the break time will know. I don't know, bro. Otherwise, she's just chilling. She will have the biggest comeback in 2050. Yes. Tape will just implement Omega and Arc 12, bro. Yeah, that's what's gonna fucking happen. I don't know, man. I don't know who did it, bro. I don't even know how we got sidetracked. What the fuck even happened? Bro, what the fuck even happened? We were just talking about like Melee. It's because Melee popped on the screen, right? It's because Melee showed up on the screen, and like I just like had to talk about that. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Pretty much all of them felt he needed to be watched.
Subaru himself. Now, why would Subaru do that? We heard a pushing sound. Stop. Stop. We heard a pushing sound, bro. Chill.
The anime, everyone was fine with leaving Subaru on his own. Pretty much all of them felt he needed to be watched. Based on the results of his actions, They couldn't trust him to just sit around and wait anymore.
Yeah.
It was in the meantime that Subaru would get more acquainted with Meili,
They were
one
talking
of
about
two
Meili.
people not helping with the investigation. She was, after all, brought for one job only, so anything else she couldn't be bothered with.
That's crazy. She just not helping. She said, man, fuck all this shit. I'm not here for this. Y'all got it, bro. That's crazy.
The other person not helping was Shala because, according to her, she couldn't read or write either. Just
Are we dead ass Charlotte? Do we know Charlotte's education? Like, how much does she know, bro? Bro, like from the looks of it, she dumb as hell, man. Yo, that's crazy.
because, according to her, she couldn't read or write either. Just talking to her would lead her to make her usual advances on Subaru, actions he found rather unrefined for a woman.
Actions unrefined for a woman. Jeez, Subaru. Jeez, yo, Subaru is not with Shala's attitude, bro, and her personality, bro. He is not with that shit, bro. Yeah, apprentice of a sage, by the way.
Rather unrefined for a woman. This was apparently something Shala's master would always tell her.
Blah, blah, again with that stuff about how a woman should be refined. Yo.
Yet another thing that never changed about him. Now, I couldn't tell.
This is okay. Okay. See, this pissed me off, bro. Dude, you know what? She's just saying this because of the stench, bro. She's just saying this because of the stench. I think that Shala is so dumb. I don't think she actually thinks that Subaru's Flugel because of the appearance. I think she's just deadass she's just straight up LARPing. I think she's just like, she smells the stench on him, and she just assumes that's Master. I mean, I was gonna keep in mind, this girl's a scorpion. Like, she like some sort of mobby. So, like, maybe she's just that dumb. She's dumb as bricks. She's not a reliable source. No, she's not. No. She's not a reliable source at all, actually. That's exactly why I'm saying that, like, I don't think Flugel is actually Subaru. It's just Shala being dumb.
About him. Now, I couldn't tell you what Shala's implications were behind the choice of her words here, but I think she and Subaru were talking about two different things here.
Alright, let's see what we got here. Change or not, you're still you, so who cares? If you just do what you want, how you want, then I just go along. That's all that matters. Even if that leads to some weird results. And if something weird happens, then I'll just open up a path forward with brute force. You might have forgotten, but that's just how a relationship works. He couldn't even sense even a whiff of ulterior motive in her frank answer. The moment her true thoughts on the matter hit him, Subaru's eyes opened wide, and then he looked away from Charlotte so she couldn't see his face. Yeah, this girl is sus as hell, bro.
Words here, but I think she and Subaru were talking about two different things here. Either way, with the nature of their past relationship laid out right in the open, Subaru would be embarrassed by what he thought she really meant.
Yeah.
He would then hide his face deep within his knees, waiting for the investigation to turn up nothing.
Bro. So, apparently, the person that actually put her in this outfit was actually the mom, right? I read something, I think it was a comment. Who said that, bro? Is this true? Is that true? I thought it was Flugel. She has a mom? Who the fuck is the mom? You know what I mean? Unless I'm like misremembering. Was it mom? Did I? If I remember that correctly, bro? Bro, I swear I read something like that.
He would then hide his face deep within his knees, waiting for the investigation to turn up nothing. It was after that's when Subaru would be testing his newfound abilities, only finding he had more endurance.
It was mentioned in episode 4 content? Oh, am I just am I just like, listen, the thing about me, oh, it was, okay. So the thing about me, I don't know if y'all probably noticed this. The information stays in my brain, I just forget where I get it from. I don't know. It's like I confuse. I either get my shit from comment to chat or AniNews or whatever the fuck, and it just confuses me. But the information's here. So it was episode 4 cut content. Got you. Yeah. But like, who the fuck is Mother? Another mystery there. Who the fuck is the Mother, man? What the hell?
Subaru would be testing his newfound abilities, only finding he had more endurance. His strength was a bit more
Capella? You know, you actually, huh? You know, that's actually a really good one. Mother? Mother could be Capella? What does Capella wear? Wait a damn minute. What is Capella's outfit, y'all? Capella's outfit is kind of like Shala's. Very revealing, right? Wait, that would be fucking. Wait. Whoa. That would be crazy. Dude, that would be fucking wild. But like, no, though. Right? Wouldn't that mean it's like recently? Exactly. That was my point. That was my point. That was my point. That would mean recently. Would Capella show up like recently though? Did she show up in the past 50 years? Yeah, Daphne could have also created her, right? Like the okay, so the consensus is like obviously right. Daphne created the other three mobbies to be great mobbies. So like it could have just been Daphne. Like maybe she should talk about Daphne, right? Was Shala naked before that? See, now that's a real question. 400 years ago, the original Lust Holder was still there too. Yeah, so maybe it was a Capella. Daphne? But like, why would Daphne do that though? Yeah, Capella doesn't really make sense with the time frame. It was a good one though. It was a nice thought. Honestly, I like that shot right there. Um, why would Daphne say that though? Is that the only clothes she had? Oh, is that the is that the only clothes she had? Like, I guess I don't know. Help with Pleiades or something. I don't fucking okay. But yeah, okay, yeah, that's just something I just like remembered, but yeah.
abilities, only finding he had more endurance. His strength was a bit more noticeable too, but not in any way that one would call a divine blessing of sorts. He would also test a series of iconic transformation poses, but as far as powers went, he had none.
Yeah.
So, as much as Subaru wanted to be the guy that everyone could rely on, it seemed all he had was bonds he couldn't remember. This, however, was where he wanted to be, and with the place they were in being all he had, Subaru wanted nothing more than to find the strength that would allow him to remain. He didn't want to be the same Subaru that was always receiving and always consuming.
Yeah.
Still, the more evident it became that Amelia and the others were worrying about him, the more he hated himself for taking up a place he hadn't earned. That's why while everyone was discussing how to approach the Subaru situation, Subaru would be out in the hallway figuring out if he had powers.
Damn. Yeah, Subaru's like, yo, bro. His entire like, it's like his own insecurities are like on 100% right now, bro. They're on 100% right now, man. Especially hearing about this other version of yourself, bro. The way that other people talk about this other version of yourself, man. Like the way they like compare him, right? The comparison, the way they talk to him, right? Like it's just like so. It just makes him feel even worse about himself, man. You know what I mean? It's like with his dad, but now it's Subaru, literally. It's, Subaru. I can't fucking believe that, bro. Subaru's worst enemy, or like I guess like the expectations he has to meet are his own. He has to meet the expectations of of another Subaru of himself, dude. What are we doing, man? Like, that is fucking, like, what? Like, that is fucking breaking my brain, but yeah.
Subaru would be out in the hallway figuring out if he had powers. He would also ponder all the possibilities of how he ended up like this, considering the trials he accomplished and the trials he was yet to accomplish. He was well aware a test of strength awaited them up on the second floor, but as much as his kendo skills made him better than an amateur, he wasn't so foolish as to think he had actual combat ability. It was once Subaru was done with his experiments that, in an attempt to get back to base, he would end up at the staircase.
Here we go.
Thoughts of his old self filled his mind as he pondered the architectural oddity that was this staircase, leading him not to notice he was falling until it was too late. That said, as far as deaths for Subaru go, this would be quite the tame one. The only pain he felt was the burning sensation when starting to choke on his own vomit, but aside from that, Subaru would be unconscious before he even hit the floor.
Yeah, this is like the most like, it's like another quick death, you know what I mean? It's like the headshot from like episode 2, bro. It was just quick, instant. And the bad thing about that, the really, it's just so funny, bro. Funny in the sense that it could have been any other death to show and prove that it's returned by a death the first time. But the first death for him was an instant death. So he automatically thought it was a dream. A prophetic dream, right? What he called it. That's Tappe is such a troll. He's such a troll, bro. He wanted to make sure he didn't like realize instantly, bro. Because any other death, he would have definitely like noticed, like, yo, I just died and came back. Wait a damn minute. You know what I mean? But no, here it was just instant. Like he fell and he like, whoa, woke up. Maybe it was just a dream, bro. Maybe it was just a fucking dream. Yeah. But the second time he fell, oh buddy, the second time he fell, yeah, he definitely figured that shit out, bro. But yeah.
Aside from that, Subaru would be unconscious before he even hit the floor. With that, I guess we can restart the counter now, so with death number 1 bringing with it the confusion of not knowing he had even died.
True. In season 1, he also thought it was a dream. It took him a little bit too to figure it out. But I'm just saying that it would have been fucking the reason that Tappe like did like the death like that instant is also to kind of like have that element of confusion as well, right? Like yeah, in the beginning, like episode 1, he didn't figure out instantly either, right? Like it took him like a little bit, bro. Freaking Appa guy, man. Yo, shout out Appa guy, bro.
With that, I guess we can restart the counter now. So with death number 1 bringing with it the confusion.
That's crazy. Yo, AniNews, yo, come on, man. Really, bro? Really, AniNews? Really? Okay, sure. I guess we're restarting from 0. Damn, we've died 23 times, y'all. Dude, 23 is fucking crazy.
With death number 1 bringing with it the confusion of not knowing he had even died, Subaru would really lean into the idea that his superpower was precognition. To him, it was a really hit or miss, hard to use ability, but if properly harnessed, it could definitely be powerful.
Yeah, and then in this scene right here, the fucking crazy thing about this scene, bro, of him, like, you know, he thought it was like a prophetic dream, right? Like some sort of dream. He was going to tell them, bro. Y'all know damn well what would have happened, bro. I literally remember the reaction. I was like, oh fuck, dude. He's gonna go up to them. If they were like talking in the hallway there, he literally would have pulled up. He would have been like, yo, guys. I had a sort of prophetic dream, bro. Now, would Satella allow that? What do y'all think, bro? He's not saying I can return by death. He's not saying I died and came back. I restarted. Would Satella allow that? Because, like, he's not saying return by death. He's just saying he had a prophetic dream. Like, yo, I dreamed of this, a premonition. You know what I mean? I think Satella, you can be lenient like that, right? And you know what's interesting about that? Do you think it's just anything hinting at it? Anything hinted at it? Okay. I mean, that would make sense if it's anything hinting at it, because what I was going to say earlier, right? I thought that I had, it was just like, that would mean that Subaru could have said some shit like this in like season 1, no? y'all think, like, if he was truly allowed, he would have like, imagine, like, I don't know, episode 19 or episode 20, when they were gonna kill the white whale, he would have been like, yo, I see, like, I have, like, premonition power. I, I have a premonition power. Trust me, this is gonna happen like this. Now, I don't know if that works. You know what I mean? Referencing his past loop directly is also a taboo, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking of, like, different rule set, like, the rules, like, what are the exact rules, like, what can you exactly say, like, how far. That's always been something that I've always wondered, like, how deep can you really go into the wording of the return by death, right? I guess if it's, like, anything hinting at it or referencing any past loop or just, like, return by death in general, I guess I think that just affects it, because otherwise, I don't know. Cruz should probably tell that he's lying about the dreams. Oh, that's true. I mean, we're talking about Cruz specifically, but maybe if it's like Cruz specifically, maybe, like, anyone else. You know what I mean? Like, any other point. You know, if he just tells anyone else, like, some shit like that. You know? Yeah, we definitely don't want to test that shit, but, it's just a thought that I had. When he was, like, walking down this frame right here of him walking down the hallway when they were talking in the hallway there, but yeah.
To usability, but if properly harnessed, it could definitely be powerful.
Yeah.
That said, knowing what was gonna happen didn't make it any less painful when it did. So, when Beatrice had to set aside her emotions and speak courageously with heartbroken eyes, the way she trembled hurt far more than it did last time. Even when she resolved herself to put up with him anyway, to Subaru, these relationships were nothing but sandcastles.
Yikes.
The foundations were certainly there, but that's pretty much all there was. And to the Subaru of now, he was certain that wouldn't be good enough for the Subaru of old. Subaru would then manage to gloss over the fact he somehow remembered their names, proceeding with his day as closely to the first as possible. He wanted to test how accurate his prophetic dreams were.
Okay.
If he did have this power of prophecy, though, then what Subaru found strange was the fact that no one had commented on it. I mean, considering how powerful such a thing could be, Subaru found it hard to believe that all these people would keep it from him.
Yeah. Very good, and that's very good observation by Subaru here. I have this power. Why is no one telling me about it? What? Why is no one telling me about it? And I guess, like, that right there, right? I guess that right there pretty much confirms. I guess, yeah, I think anything hinting at it, it doesn't matter, like, what the wording is. I think that it will just, like, Satella would just come out and just tickle his heart. So, yeah.
That being the case, the natural explanation then was that they just didn't know. That in turn meant old Subaru never told them, making new Subaru wonder why they didn't.
Yeah, wonder why.
That planted a small seed of distrust, all stemming from the question of what was Subaru thinking. That the anime made very clear, but what the anime didn't show after was the way he acted differently.
Oh.
In fact, with reliving everything being like watching a movie for the second time, Subaru couldn't replicate the same emotions he did the first time around. So, when everyone was reeling over the unreasonable situation they found themselves in, Aridina would comment on Subaru's rather calm demeanor.
Holy shit. I am so glad that this was mentioned. That's the little difference right there. Because he expects the events. Yo, it's literally like first time reactions. It's literally first time reaction. First time reaction, you don't know what's happening. You're watching the show, you get shocked, you feel all these emotions, but once you rewatch it, you already know what's coming, so you don't feel anything. You already know what's happening. That's literally this. Since he already knew what was happening, it's like some sort of video game that he already played before. Especially if someone like Erinna, like someone that's like paying attention, they're like, "Yo, Subaru, why are you so calm, bro?" Yo, what? Like, yeah, it's like Otto's comment, dude. It's like Otto's comment, bro. That is fucking crazy. I'm glad that it's like, okay. It's like a small little detail, but I like it. It's like it really goes to show that it doesn't matter, like that the events like kind of happen the same. Especially if Subaru like acts like different, like the way that he reacts, right? His emotions when he's experiencing everything again could change things up quite a bit. Um, I mean, shit, bro, yo, the like we literally had the example of Otto in season 2, yeah, bro. That sanctuary shit, bro. We had like 10 different events, bro. Bro, there was like 10 different like loops, bro. Every time it was fucking different. Yo, every single fucking time it was different, bro. Yeah, that shit was funny as hell, bro. I was like, yo, why is Garfield acting like that? Man, it's crazy, bro.
Situation they found themselves in, Retina would comment on Subaru's rather calm demeanor.
Yeah.
He was clearly the least disoriented out of all of them.
Yeah.
Really, he was dealing with all sorts of emotions, just not the ones everyone was concerned with right now. There was sympathy for their efforts, guilt towards his abandonment, distaste towards the Subaru he was supposed to be, then all sorts of negative emotions constantly mixing together and growing.
Oh man.
So, despite his best efforts to replicate the previous loop as best as he could, Subaru's change in behavior also changed the mood. Compared to last time, things were off. Still, he would manage to lead them to the archive anyway, Subaru feeling overwhelming guilt for effectively deceiving everyone. In fact, the only person he felt relief when talking to now was surprisingly Shala. Because she treated him the same regardless of whether he remembered her or not, Subaru found a bit of comfort in that.
W Shala, I guess? It's more because like Shala's experienced this so much, right? She's played these games before, so like hell nah. No W Shala. Oh man.
Once Subaru was back to where he was in the previous loop, a lot of time would be spent trying to figure out the specifics of his superpower.
Okay, Mike, okay. I would like to, if AniNews could explain like more in detail, if like why he stood in the same place again. Cause like I saw him like look back. Was he trying to predict? Like, did he go to the same place to see like what exactly happened? Maybe if it was a dream, like what exactly happened? If he actually got pushed, maybe if he could predict it, he like look back like behind him, like yo, I got you, but there's no one there. You know what I mean? Like I would like to see there's like more on that. If not, it's probably whatever. But he's drawn to the stairs, bro. I guess that makes sense. I guess I can see why Daniel pulled up the stairs there, bro.
Spent trying to figure out the specifics of his superpower. The more questions he asked, though, the more he felt he would end up in butterfly dream territory. A terrifying state where thoughts went in circles and questions remained unanswered.
Yeah, sorry. Butterfly dream just automatically reminded me of Lustif. Anyway.
The premise was to question the fuzzy line between dreams and reality, so in Subaru's case, he wondered if he ever really woke up from his dream, or was the reality he experienced now just another dream?
Yeah.
To him, the only way to find that answer was to go past where his dream had ended, after which he would commit to telling the others about it. He was so desperate to change the situation that now he was willing to do something old Subaru never did. That's when Subaru would overhear their words of doubt, a conversation they may not have even had Subaru not acted so strangely before.
See? And now it makes so much sense why they said what they said in the hallway. See, that's the context that I need. The change in behavior from the second loop because of the way that he was acting, because he already expected everything, and the way that he was pretty much just acting, right? The emotions, right? Because of the way that he was acting, the entire vibe and the entire mood changed. And that's why they ended up saying what they said. That's crazy, bro. And honestly, I really wish that they didn't talk in that hallway, man. I would have loved to test that out, bro. I would have loved to see I would have loved to see if Subaru. I would have loved to see Subaru go up to them and go like, "Hey, I have these type of dreams where I can like see like I can predict the future and shit or like something like that." I would have loved to see if he says that and instantly Satella cuts him off. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see something like that. Obviously, that comes with a big sacrifice. But it would have been interesting, right? I really like the whole specifics of the wording. You know what I mean? But I guess we'll never fucking know.
When Subaru would overhear their words of doubt, a conversation they may not have even had Subaru not acted so strangely before.
Yeah.
That's right. Subaru's behavior would be a key reason cited for their suspicion of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they didn't trust the Subaru of old, but this blank slate Subaru was far different. Much to the point that Ram would straight up say he couldn't be trusted.
Yeah, I acknowledge that Barasu is not a bad person, but if you asked whether I could trust a Barasu, who is a blank sheet, then I would say no. There's no reason to. Damn. Again, Ram, very objective, straight to the point, right?
Trust was clearly the pain point half the party was dealing with, so when Meili suggested they just ask him if they could trust him, that's when Subaru would run away.
Yeah. Bro. That is all I wanted, bro. AniNews, thank you. This gives the context, bro? Yeah. This context gives way more, bro. Explains why they, in the beginning, when it seemed like they actually left him alone, but they actually went with him first, right? Like, that was different. But then the second loop, because he pretty much expected every event and the way that he acted, right? The way that he was, like, strangely calm. Because of that, that's why they also said what they said in that hallway due to the mood change and the vibe change. Like, those details go a long way, bro. They really change. They really change how I look at this episode, man. Specific scenes and all that, bro. Love to see it, bro.
Just ask him if they could trust him. That's when Subaru would run away. He had every intent to speak up and break the ominous vibe he was feeling, but the tension was far too much for him to handle. So, just like in his past life, Subaru was once again running away from life's tough choices.
Yikes.
Whether due to the miasma or just the overwhelming pressure of everything, it's important to note the miasma definitely is still affecting him. The only reason it's not mentioned in the novel is because the concept of it isn't something Subaru is aware of. So, considering the miasma is still this ever-present toxin, its effects on people's behavior should definitely not be forgotten.
I guess, yeah. So that's also... So maybe it's a mix of Subaru's behavior plus miasma. It's like, that's so fucking weird, man. Because wouldn't that mean that, like, because of the miasma, we won't know if people are being 100% honest or themselves? You get what I mean? That's throwing me off. Like, how much of what was said in the hallway really influenced by miasma, man? Like, how true and how honest are like, how really, like, honest and, like, true to themselves are the people here, you know what I mean? That's throwing me the fuck off. A little more honest to the point? Probably just that, I guess. A little more aggressive, or, like, not aggressive. Well, aggressive if we're saying episode 3. But more, I guess, like, straight to the point, yeah. Maybe that's also why Ram is, like, more, like, aggressive there. I used that correctly there. More, like, aggressive there. A Ram. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's like small doses. Yeah, I know. It's like less. Okay, obviously it doesn't compare to the cave, but it's still there. But the fact that it's still there, the fact that element right there is interesting because that influences people's behaviors. And because it influences people's behaviors, it doesn't matter if it's a lot or a little bit, it still influences them. Which means it's like, dude, they're not fully themselves. Which is fucking wild.
Is still this ever-present toxin, its effects on people's behavior should definitely not be forgotten. In any case, with the group showing they didn't trust Subaru at all, Subaru's feelings were hurt in a way that he currently couldn't manage.
Man.
He didn't expect them to trust him right away, but he was at least hoping they'd have a little faith in him. What he'd heard back there though was zero faith whatsoever. It's for that reason Subaru now saw himself nothing but a fool, since what he thought was at least a sandcastle of trust was in actuality just him greedily trying to claim what the old Subaru had earned. That's why he felt they wouldn't believe a word he said. If anything, the whole situation was hopeless from the start. He couldn't prove he had his powers, and he couldn't be the Subaru they wanted him to be, so with nowhere to go and no place to fit in, Subaru knew he had nothing.
Yeah.
What happened next was what could only be described as a recurring hell. Pain that refused to let Subaru go. The anime does a fantastic job animating it, really highlighting what the novel grotesquely describes as Subaru becoming nothing but a lump of flesh.
Jesus Christ. Also, y'all hear this? Yo, AniNews with the Clown Roswell OST, dude. Yo, I'm sorry. Dude, I hear that fucking OST, and it just brings me back to season 2 peak, bro. God.
Grotesquely describes as Subaru becoming nothing but a lump of flesh.
Yeah.
He had already lost his memories, but now he was losing his form. In the end, all that was left was a sack of blood. A repeatedly malformed thing that couldn't even be called Subaru anymore. His existence was quite literally shattered now. It was this pain that would overwrite Subaru's very being, enveloping every emotion until the world itself was pain. Everything else just seemed worthless, so when that pain was finally released and Subaru awoke, his only thoughts were to escape the pain that was surely coming back for him.
Gotcha.
Eventually, the thought of pain transformed into the thought of death, so now Subaru felt that that's what he was running from. It was as if he could hear death's footsteps approaching him, so out of desperation to get away, he would run without thinking.
And that's why that's why he just started fucking running away and then go all crazy and shit, yeah.
To Subaru, death had come for him already, so why was it that it was coming for him again? It was a suffocating sensation that made him feel like he was drowning. It was when he ended up at Raid's that at first Raid was willing to let him go. He just told him to come back with the girls, but when Subaru ignored him, well, we already know what happened. It was after that Subaru would take the time to try and make sense of everything, finally coming to see where it was he went wrong. You see, Subaru had made the mistake of trying to run away from everything. He couldn't handle the events of what had happened in the first loop, so when he came back a second time, he created a convenient excuse that made sense of it for him. He'd even gone so far as to think of the whole situation as someone else's problem. That he now knew was a grave mistake, and by not facing the problem head-on like how he should've, he was now facing a world of suffering beyond his wildest dreams. All he could feel was futility, loss, despair, and negativity.
Yes. The feeling of running away and leaving problems before others. That feeling right there, right? Of like Subaru in the beginning is amplified 100 times here. Especially with everything going on. So much going on at once, bro. The pain, the emotional dude. The emotional impact of like the people telling it, like pretty much like talking in the hallway and all that. Like it's it's so much clogging up his mind, right? And then not only is it clogging up his mind, then you fall, and then now you're fucking like the pain. Now you're not only struggling mentally and feeling mental pain. Now you're freaking falling down to fucking stairs and feeling some horrible pain, bro. And now you're cooked. Now he's fully gone, bro. Like, that right there was the breaking point. And right there, yeah, normal reaction, bro. Dude, reasonable fucking reaction, bro.
On his wildest dreams. All he could feel was futility, loss, despair, and negativity, each of which made him yearn for the life he'd lived only hours ago. The voice Subaru then heard after was the very thing he was trying to run away from.
Yeah.
It was death finally caught up, ready to take him again. Not only that, this time Subaru could see the very face of death, and the visage mocking his entire existence was none other than his own. So, with death being him and him mocking who he was, Subaru refused to be killed by himself. If he was gonna die, then so be it, but Subaru was hellbent on making sure it wasn't him that caused it. Okay. So, for the first time, Death's smirk would finally change, shifting into an almost annoyed look. It seemed upset that Subaru wasn't gonna do what it wanted, and that in turn filled Subaru with life again. The more Subaru carried on, the angrier Death got, up until Satella came in and shared what could only be described as an unimaginably powerful emotion with him.
Yeah,
Subaru had a tough time putting to words what emotion that felt like, but if he combined every time any person in the world had ever said I love you, To him, that would equate to her I love you.
Dude. Satella's love, yo, Satella's love is crazy, bro. I don't know how it got to this level, bro. This is fucking crazy, man.
That was just how much passion Subaru had felt from her.
My God.
That passion then turned into pain, as the way she caressed his heart made it seem like she was doing so out of jealousy. It was a sensation strong enough to make Subaru piss himself.
This freaking girl, man. Like, you couldn't just say Aishiteru, pull up, and just say like, yo, don't say it. You had to pull up and then go into his heart, bro. Damn, Satella, chill out, man.
A sorry state Death was once again mocking him for. Now Subaru could only think he'd been duped, punished for thinking he was strong enough to beat Death. In the end, Subaru could only see everything as a punishment for being weak and punishment for being foolish.
Damn.
All he could do was cry as he wished for Death to just take him already. That's a pretty good spot to end this episode, since what happens next starts in the next chapter.
Alright.
Be sure to subscribe if you want to see that episode, and if you enjoyed this one, then be sure to leave a like and comment.
Wow, man. There you have it, boys. And I think that I absolutely loved this content for the context that it really brought, right? In terms of the whole scene, right? Scenes that we didn't see and all that, right? I absolutely appreciate that. I love that a lot, bro. But yeah, man. AniNews, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you so much for the cut content. This is an amazing cut content. That is going to be it for today, boys. If y'all enjoyed and you're new, subscribe. Leave a like down below. If you want to check out the other ReZero playlist, or the other ReZero stuff in the playlist, right there, man. I will see you guys next time. See you guys.